Are you trying to decide if you should sell first or buy first, and you have no idea what to do? Watch this video. We're going to talk about all the things you need to know when you sell and buy a house at the same time. So how do you decide if you should sell or buy first? Well, the biggest tip I'm going to give you, spoiler alert, I'm a realtor, is to talk to a professional. Talk to a professional to ask them their advice on what they think given your circumstance. Because you need to figure out where are you moving to next and where do you currently live and what the market value is. When you know the answer to both those things, you'll actually be able to have a better idea and your realtor will be able to advise you as to what makes sense. If your home is in an area that is highly coveted, not just because you think it is, but because the statistics show it, and where you're moving to is also highly coveted, then you might want to consider looking for a home first before you sell. Now, that being said, you need to make sure your house is ready to go so that when you do find one, you can put it on the market right away. So there are some things that we do with our clients to make sure everything's good to go here, then now let's go shopping. Because sometimes it might take you a week to a month to get your house actually ready, then we probably should be looking, because if we find something and now we need to put your house on the market right away, you're just in a stress mode trying to get the house ready for sale. But if you're moving from an area that takes a long time to sell, and you're moving into an area that sells really quickly, you are going to want to put your house on the market first to work that out, make sure you understand how long it's going to take. And if we do get an offer, as soon as you get an offer and you're pending, now let's start looking. Now, it might be hard for you to look for homes because those areas go quickly. So there are strategies in which realtors can actually help you do things actually simultaneously. But again, you have to consider both the area you live in and the area you want to move into. What impact does the actual real estate market in general have on your buying and selling? If you're talking about your specific area and the one you're going to, it also depends on what's happening, right? So if Edmonton is in a buyer's market where everything is slow to move versus when the market is a seller's market where things are really quick to move, that's going to impact if you should buy or sell also. I'm telling you an overarching philosophy, but I think you still need to talk to an agent to actually give you the proper advice, not just a video. But when you take a look at the market when it's a buyer's market, generally you should put your house for sale first before you go look, because a buyer's market, things sit forever and they take a long time. So a house that you want to buy in general is probably going to sit there and not move, and so will your house. So you're going to want to put your house on the market first, then start looking, and just wait and see that your house actually gets an offer before you even put an offer on. Now, if you're taking a look at the seller's market where things are moving so quickly and you don't want to sell your house and be homeless, then yeah, we're going to look first before we put your house on the market that's going to sell quickly. Now, that's in general. There are other options for you when you're buying and selling a house without worrying about, do I buy, do I sell first? Because ideally, if you didn't have to worry about the finances, and you could buy and sell first, what would you do first? I would always recommend as a family, you buy first, you're able to move your whole family out of the house, you're able to go in here, you're happy with the place you're in, and now we sell your house. Now it's empty, we can clean it, paint it, stage it, whatever we need to do. You don't have to worry about getting out of the house for showings. That's ideal situation if you didn't have to worry about the money. Well, there are ways that you can actually do this. Depending on your financial situation, and you need to talk to a mortgage broker, you need to find out if you need to sell this home to buy the next one. Sometimes you don't need to, and you can actually figure out financially how to actually make that work. There are also things such as bridge financing, where we can actually coordinate you moving into your new house and having just a 2-3 week gap before the house of your other house takes possession. So you're actually able to advance the funds from the sale of your home in order to buy the house that you are moving into. And then that way you're able to not have to move twice. It does still mean you have to show your house with you living in it, but it's another way to avoid the moving twice situation. But let's talk about the worst case scenario. If the worst case scenario happened, which is you really want to buy in a certain location that sells really quickly and fast. So the worst case situation is you buy that house and you can't sell your home. Now, the worst case is that the house just sits there. Well, the worst case really is that you probably got approved to actually hold both. So you're like, I don't want to hold both. No, we don't want you to hold both. But the worst case is you could actually rent it out. The real estate market right now is really hot in terms of rental. So we could rent it out, or you could keep it and it just would take a little bit longer to sell, but eventually you would sell it. You would have to pay 2 mortgages for that time while you're waiting. So that's the worst case. Worst case scenario, if you had to sell first and you lose out on the house you really want, that's unfortunate because we can't get you that house again. So you're gonna have to re-look. But if we sell your house first, the worst case there is that you have to move into a temporary location until you find that house. So I wanted to show you also the worst case scenarios of what happens if you sell and buy at the wrong times. But there's always ways to navigate through those things, even if you have to go through the worst scenario situations. But of course, when you work with a realtor, we can strategize to make sure those worst case scenarios don't happen for you and that the best case scenarios actually happen for you when you're looking to buy or sell a house in Edmonton.